TV Board meeting of September 18th, 2006. We do have a quorum here. We will, in a few minutes, have the minutes of the last meeting, but before that, we'd like to have a presentation from Peter Sirois, and we'll be discussing that afterwards. So, Peter, go ahead.
Okay, just a little background. Back on September 8th, 9th, and 10th, I had a show pulled. Maine Social Justice was pulled for reasons of someone didn't like it. Now, along came the hemp stock, which is about marijuana. Everyone familiar, so we're on the same page here. And this year, the marijuana program was about extending the legalization of marijuana for medical purposes in Maine. Now, as you know, medical marijuana in Maine is already legalized. It's a fact. One might want to disagree with that, but you can check with lawyers and you'll find out that medical marijuana is legalized in the state of Maine. Now, what the Maine Vocals and other groups that sponsored the event were proposing is that Maine expands the people that may use marijuana for medical purposes, and it will also clarify the language as to how the marijuana may be grown, where it may be grown, who may have it, how much they may have. There's a lot of details that weren't worked out in the last legalization law. I showed evidence from various medical people. One was a Sentinel, it was an article in the Sentinel that said they found that this marijuana wasn't as bad as they thought. As a matter of fact, it did no harm medically, and there was actually some evidence beginning to show that it did a lot of good. Now, what I'm here for, as far as I'm concerned, this is not about marijuana. I am here at this meeting about the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States that says people have a right to redress the government for grievances by passing petitions, and I have a right to report that. That's my First Amendment right. There are crimes reported in the newspapers and on television, major television, every day, and by reporting these events, that's not a crime. However, to try to stop that, under the First Amendment rules, that is a crime. Under federal law, one may be prosecuted for attempting to stop a reporter from doing their job. And I see myself as a reporter. I was covering an event. Is the public policy platform of CTAM. And if you'll see on the top, the mission of CTAM is to advance democratic ideals by ensuring that people in Maine have access to electronic media, that's this channel. In order for democracy to flourish, people must be active participants in their government, educated to think critically, and free to express themselves. If you have more questions, I'm here to answer any questions you have. I'll answer anyone's question.
I know that the board did want to meet, so I'll let the board ask you any question they'd like now, and then I think we'd like to meet ourselves afterwards, and you can wait for us or whatever you like.
Okay.
Okay? Did anybody have anything they wanted to ask of Peter?
The only question I have is, you mentioned that there was 10 seconds edited out, or they asked you in Farmington to edit. What were they?
You know, actually, it was where the guy puffed on a bowl, said, well, okay. I mean, in the spirit of cooperation, I don't believe in censorship at all. I will take out, just as I did for Farmington, I will take out the guy doing the bowl.
The only thing I was concerned about was the smoking of the dope on the camera. I didn't know. I wasn't, don't get me wrong, I mean, if they want to do that, that's fine. I mean, that's their choice. But the thing about it is, I don't think that it should be, I didn't feel comfortable with that being on Channel 11.
All opposed? Okay. Okay, so did you want me to just tell Peter what we discussed? Is that what we, and I certainly thank you for coming to meet with us and giving us the opportunity to look at what do we show, what are our concerns, and what kind of guidelines should we have. And I think that we'll be working on those things, and we'll let you know as things per se.
I hope when you make your guidelines, now they've guidelines have been challenged many times, so just
Yep.
forewarn
No,
you
we certainly
that you must at all times when you perform guidelines for an access television channel, you must be aware that the freedom of speech, the First Amendment can't be,
Absolutely.
that rule can't be broken.
Absolutely, that's very important to me.
Today we're having an event, we're calling it Game and Snack Night at Maple Street Park, and it's sort of lots of gardens and the visible community coming together. And having an event in the park in order to, bring out people from the neighborhood, especially kids, and giving them a safe space, younger kids, a safe space to run around and play games that younger kids might want to play, as well as eat healthy snacks. Most of the snacks come from the garden. We also have some apples from Willow Pond Farm. So that's one purpose of the night. The second purpose is sort of to show community support for the park. And since the city demolished the park over a year ago, people in this community have voiced their opinion that they would like it back. And there aren't a lot of ways for them to explain to the city why they want it back, or even voice that opinion. So this is a night where they can come out, and just by being here, they're saying, I do want this park back. I would use it if it was here. And here I am with all my kids, even though there's no swing set or no slide, and we're still having a good time.
Those kids will probably cry if I go push them out of the way, huh?
Yeah, thank We have face painting, which Bridget's doing. We have these decorative crowns that we've showed kids how to make. Sherry's doing an apple pop demonstration, which is just cut apples with honey and peanut butter and crushed cereal. And the kids get to put it together themselves. She just cuts the apples into pieces for them and explains how to do it.
This is like a healthy supper. Good.
And there's a raging game of apple, tomato going on. The park was taken out in order to take down the Ritz Cafe, which was on the adjoining lot, and it hasn't been put back yet because the city has chosen not to put it back. The city promised that they'd put the park back when they took it down, and they don't deny that they promised that. But even though they don't deny that they made that promise, they're still refusing to put it back today.
The paper here concerned to Maple Street Park. We put our name here, Paul Sampson, would put down in their name, what district, and our street address, telephone number, and say why we'd like to have this park back.